a force behind the iconic Flour Bakery and Meyers and Chang, James Beard Award winners, and a New York Times bestselling author. Welcome to Tequila Chats with the acclaimed Joanne Chang and Christopher Meyers. Joanne, Christopher, welcome to Tequila Chats. I know you remember this, but it's been years since we've been trying to put this together. I know you don't. You do, but I know you do not remember. But we've been going at this for a long time. I'm going to serve you some tequila, and I think I mentioned to you, this is actually a very special bottle. A dear friend of mine gave this to me. He is one of the biggest luxury realtors in Mexico. I know you like your tequila, so I'm going to give you a little bit more.
Thank you.
And he's friends with the people that own Casa Dragones, and so he got me this kind of like nice, customized bottle. Don't try to steal it.
Dude, I won't.
It's mine. It has
Just
my name.
One bottle?
Just one. Wow. I know. It's so sweet.
Just one bottle, and you're sharing it with us.
Of course,
that's lovely.
of course.
That's
and I
lovely.
told you about this jacket just for you. I saw this jacket, this color. I was like, Christopher is gonna love
The
it.
color's stunning.
It's beautiful.
Well, cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. And again, thank you very much for doing Tequila Chats.
Love. We always toast to love.
Yes, to love.
To love and
And to joy and to friendship, yes. So Tequila Chats. Tequila Chats is about conversation about success, but not from the shiny part, but from what goes behind the scenes, which I think sometimes get lost. I think we're all very good at showing, the good things, but I think the real lessons come from all of the hard work. I also do believe that our success is informed by our origin. Where we come from, the way that we grew up informs the way that we see not only life, but that we see how success happens and what success actually means. And it has been a really interesting conversation as I've been going out through the years, having this with people. There is this meaning to it that it goes beyond the quantifiable things. And so, would you mind sharing with me, with us, kind of like your origin story?
Well,
You go first.
The first thing I would say is that you talked about success aside from the shiny stuff, is that we both felt pretty successful when we didn't have a buck,
Oh, yeah.
right? When we were both doing something that we loved, and we were really fortunate to be doing that.
Because I don't think for either of us, success was making a buck.
Yeah.
Yes.
We never said, I want to make, like, I know people who say, I want to make X amount and then I'll retire and be happy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've ever had like a number. We've never thought about that. So.
And we both grew up very humbly. I think probably I was more humbly.
Yeah, I think you had more humble beginnings.
But I think you grew up with a very clear sense of the reality that you were going to have to work really hard.
And I think my parents also, they didn't care about making, I mean, they wanted to make money so that they could raise us, but I don't think either of them thought about, I need to make a certain amount. They just thought we need to raise good kids. We need to have a home. That's it. We need to be.
So you think that your success is measured more by the ability, the joy on the ability to do what you were meant to do?
I'm going to get corny and say that our success has everything to do with our relationship.
Yeah.
And that we could lose our businesses and we
everything
could,
as long as we're together. That's how I always feel.
So I was going to ask, so how does your partnership work? She's the beauties and the brain, and
I'm the grunt work. No, it's actually just the opposite. No, we are incredibly cooperative, and
we're very aware of each other's strengths and weaknesses. And I think one of the things that makes it work so well is that the things that he likes to do, that he's good at, that he gets satisfaction out of, are the things that I'm really not that interested in, and vice versa. And then we have some things that together we're both interested in. But, like the feel of the place and the ethos and the design and all of that stuff. So the fact that like
right before... move your hands around like I'm a florist. Those things are extremely important.
The fact that I brought
skill stuff. Surprisingly enough, even though she's as delicate as a flower, she doesn't have a great deal of interest in.
The cookies that I just brought, right? I brought some cookies from the bakery. I had come from the bakery. I was out, the reason why I was just a little bit late was I was out the door and I thought, oh, Christopher, he's going to say, why didn't you bring cookies? You should think about things like this. And so I went running back in and I brought some cookies because I just don't think about
Yes,
that
yes.
stuff.
That she didn't sit on them on her bike on the way over here. And
That is
hand
the
you a
real-
and hand you a bag of crumbs is a sign of her evolutionary path.
Yes, yes. But I like all of the detail work. I love going into work and seeing all the problems and trying to, pull the thread and figure out where'd this problem come from and how can we fix it and who do I have to talk to? I love all that nitty-gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And
I prefer looking at leases, looking at numbers at this point in the game.
Yes, yes.
Strategy and big picture stuff where I can go to as few meetings as possible. My meetings are with her.
yeah, and I think you point us in the direction. And the thing that I always feel is so great with our relationship and how we run the businesses is that Christopher kind of paints the picture of what it should be. And if it were up to me, I'm always thinking, oh, we can't do that because that's too hard, or we can't do that because people won't like that. And Christopher thinks the opposite. We should do that because that's the right thing to do. And I think the yin and yang of me saying, no, that's not realistic, and him saying, you've got to shoot for that. I think we work to get to a place.
Sounds like your partnership is about you share this kind of like ethos and vision, and then you complement on those areas in which each one of you has your strengths.
We don't argue much.
No.
Joe's strengths.
That's really interesting because you guys have been doing this for a while, and you have
26 years. Yeah, 26 years.
What is it? How many flowers are like 11?
11.
12 businesses and a commissary.
Yeah,
So-
11 and plus Meyers and Chang.
So, Christopher, I was going to say you've been in this business for.
This is my 50th year.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
incredible.
I started.
Yeah.
I started waiting tables in LA at 18.
Yeah.
I went out there to be an actor, and I mean, I was good.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was before streaming, so you probably didn't see most of my
I was going to ask, what kind of films are we talking about here, Christopher? That's the good LA.
I was very close to that industry, actually. Yeah, and back then nobody checked references. There was no internet. There was a phone call from coast to coast to check somebody's references would be $10 a minute.
Yes.
So nobody did it. So I just created a backstory about. I think I said it was 22. I had an incredibly thick Boston accent. So there was some
The charm
authenticity
came in it,
there.
yes, yeah.
I don't think they thought it was particularly charming. I think they thought it was actually quite scary. It didn't sound like English.
They couldn't say no to you.
No, it was North Shore stuff. I mean,
Yes.
it was thick.
Yeah.
But I just made up a backstory, and I got hired, and I was in really good high-end restaurants really quickly, and I just loved it. I love.
And you
the
build the
vibe
same thing
and-
here in Boston as well. You know, incredible partnerships here in Boston. And obviously right now you have an iconic partnership, but really your career in hospitality has been, all about this
I'm
incredible
very
spaces.
fortunate. I mean, partnerships are like marriages, and I've had 3 or 4 marriages.
Yeah.
But they've all been fruitful. I'm grateful for all of them.
3 or 4 partnership marriages.
Yeah, partnership.
not-
Yeah. No marriages, yes.
You
Yeah. I understood that. Thank you for the explanation. I'm sure everybody's like, what?
Yeah. He's used to being jumpy about using the wrong words. Michael, what do you mean?
But hospitality has always, it's been your thing in,
Yeah.
one way or
Yeah,
another.
my mother was French. I had a little to do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, she would eat with a long wooden spoon next to us, and if you reached over and didn't say "excuse me" or "may you please pass the," she'd whack you on the elbow. So manners, even though we were bust out broke, manners were a big deal, and courtesies were a big deal, and she was extraordinary in her own way. She was quite a lady. Yeah. Like your mom.
Yes, she is.
And like your mom.
Yes.
I mean, mothers are really freaking important.
Yeah.
They really are. They truly are. But now, for you, Joanne, your journey on hospitality, restaurants, it came a different direction because you were
Correct, yes.
in academia, mathematics.
Well, I studied math and economics at Harvard and then got a management consulting job directly out of school and spent 2 years in a suit, in an office, doing spreadsheets and presentations and all of that. But in my off time, I loved to be in the kitchen. I loved baking. I loved cooking. I loved inviting people over for dinner parties. And so after 2 years of consulting, I thought I'm just going to take a year off from all this office stuff and go work in a restaurant and see what that's like.
Yeah.
And then once I stepped foot in a in a restaurant kitchen.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was love at first sight, pretty much.
I mean, it was tough, but yeah, I felt an excitement to go to work every day that I didn't feel when I was a consultant.
Yeah, yeah. And that means a lot. That means everything. You know, I have the same experience with real estate. I never thought that real estate was for me. It never. It just looked like so foreign and like different from anything that I was expecting to do in my life until I stepped into real estate and it just clicked. It just clicked immediately. Yes, yeah. There was just something about it. It was something about the opportunity with real estate. There was something about the ability to kind of like make it your own. Real estate is a very personal business. As a practitioner, right? You make it your own. It takes your own flavor, and that to me was super important.
And it's such an important decision for people, and you're there for the whole.
Yeah, it's for
part
that,
of it.
for that entire process. But
This one's your start really was Susie Easy Bake Oven stuff.
Yes.
I mean, you just fell
so,
in love with
come
it
on, you
at
missed a part. So
3.
you were really like doing your baking thing since you were a.
Well, when I was a little girl, I made the Toll House chocolate chip cookies from the yellow bag. It's the only thing I was allowed to make. And so I would make that. But you're right, easy bake oven, like making the cookies. And
Fell in love with. You've told me this enough times, and your mom has told me this enough times, that she just fell in love with that one moment where you give somebody something that you made personally, and you look for the reaction, like, does it make you happy?
Yeah.
And that clicked with you more than most people that have spent their lives in hospitality. You learned that really, really early.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to find a way to connect with people and to feel like I'm okay in this world. And different people do it in different ways, whether it's their career or their family or their hobbies, or the way of for me to connect is to make something that people enjoy and to see them enjoying it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do this. You want to, are you done? I was gonna be like, you're ready for more?
I'll be done.
You know, something that has struck me from this conversation with the two of you is that it seems like, and you said it, like you're defining your current success by your ability, not just by what you're doing, but what it means to other people. You know, like making that cookie and the joy that that cookie brings to it. You know, the restaurant is not about the restaurant and the numbers, but about the experience that people have in those restaurants. To me, that's it's a very different way to look at what that final outcome is.
Yeah, we've defined our entire arc based on how much time we're going to spend together. And we could have 100 flowers. We could have 10 Meyers and Changs if we wanted to. We didn't want to. We've had plenty of people come to us with offers and money. And the original hard line was, if Joe can't ride a bike to it, we're not going to open anything that far out. But
because if it's something far out, then you spend so much time just traveling.
Just traveling, yes.
And it gets away from you, and it's not what you want it to be, and you can't get there often enough.
It disrupts your life in many ways.
But it was always, once we made the decision we're not going to have kids, it became pretty easy knowing that we didn't need buckets of money to exist, and we could keep our lives manageable, even though it rarely feels manageable at this point.
Well,
close to
you have a lot.
50 employees.
How many?
450. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it still feels manageable because we're not we're not going to DC like next year, like Steve DiFilippo, incredibly successful guy in our industry, and somebody I grew up with and have a great deal of respect. He's all over the place. He's in Florida. He's like. We weren't interested in that.
Yes. No, you made the choice of what you wanted it to be.
Yeah, we didn't want a licensing deal in Dubai because it would keep us up at night.
Yes, of course. So when you look at your partnership and your journey, because I'm always interested in this idea of the tipping point. I think tipping points sometimes get lost because we are lost. We are busy with the mechanics of whatever that we are doing, that we don't realize those signs that the universe is sending to you, or like life is sending to you. How important you think tipping points, identifying those tipping points, are for you, and an example of what you believe is like your most significant tipping point?
I feel like for me, honestly, the most significant professional tipping point, and this might be different from what you think, but for me, so I started Flour after working in bakeries and restaurants, and I felt like this is great. I opened my little bakery and I loved it, and Christopher and I were starting to date. And I feel like the tipping point was at some point, like 3 or 4 or 5 years into Flour. And you looked at Flour and you're like, this is this great little thing. You should do more. And I said, I don't want to do more. I like this. I don't know how to do more. I can barely do this. And we were starting to get closer and dating more seriously. And I feel like a tipping point was when we meshed both personally, but then also professionally. And at that point, I was like, okay, we are now, hand in hand, arm in arm. We're going to do this thing both in our personal lives, but also professionally. And we started looking around for a second location. That's when we opened Meyers and Chang. And to me, a tipping point was just realizing that, like, maybe this one little bakery, as much as I love it, there's potential to do more. But I want to do it with Christopher.
It requires a partnership.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was something that I was not interested in doing, was not able to do by myself. And I think that's a big part of how Flour has grown.
I've answered this question before, but I've never answered it this candidly.
Go
My
ahead.
tipping point had a lot to do with the scale. I was at like 250 pounds, and I was running around, and I was out in Chinatown 4 nights a week at 3 o'clock in the morning, and just hanging out with restaurant people and eating and drinking. And I had 4 restaurants, and Michael and I, and an investment in another place. And I thought I was the shit, but I was. I had a heart attack at like 39, and I just wasn't healthy. And then Joe moved in, and all of a sudden I discovered vegetables. And I'll be honest with you, to
Not
this
just
day,
decorations,
to this day, right. I'm not.
Oh, to this day, when I cook dinner, I make the vegetables
I have to eat them first.
and give them to him before we sit down for dinner. So he eats his bowl of vegetables and then we eat them.
Before I get a bowl of pasta, before I get a steak or a chicken breast or something like that, I have to eat my vegetables. And I think it was the tipping point was I was going to choose sanity over the unrealistic existence of a restaurateur in a big city. And I wasn't healthy, and she was my tipping point. Yeah.
It seems like you both were the tipping point for each other in many ways. Yes. Which then speaks to your partnership.
I thought you were going to say, well, she was doing pretty well. She was a young woman. She was, I was one of the owners of Rialto with Jody and Michaela, and Joanne was our head pastry chef, and she had, we got a 4-star review. It was a big deal restaurant. And I said, you're not good enough. Right. And I said, you need to go and study with somebody masterful. And she moved to New York for a few years, and she did. And then you went to, you had worked with Rick.
I had worked with Rick, but I was his pastry chef for 2 years, and
Rick Katz,
I was kind of spinning my wheels. Yeah,
well, Rick was at Biva, and before that he was in San Francisco, and then he had Bentonwood in Newton Center, and he was a talented man. She had worked with him, but she still needed that next sort of level of burnishing her abilities and all that. And she went and she worked in the kitchen when she was the only woman.
And I think this is exactly what I was saying about the bakery. Like, I never would have left on my own. I would have thought, okay, I'm going to figure this out here at Rialto as the pastry chef.
She would have left on her own.
I don't know that I would have.
I had come out of New York.
Christopher said, you got to go to New York. You got to go somewhere and push yourself.
I said, you need to be better. And I had no doubt whatsoever that she was going to be better, but it wasn't going to happen in Boston.
Yeah.
Because you have an illustrious tenure in New York as well. You were at Payot, right? Like,
I was at Payot.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You want to hear a story about Rialto? Did I ever tell you about Michael and I? Michael.
Right.
And Michael is my husband, for those of you.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's Michael?
Michael?
No, that Mike.
Mikey.
So our first we were, 24 years old. We were young, and it was our first fancy date.
Yeah.
And we went to Rialto.
No way.
And we were like so excited, and we're sitting right there.
Is this a good story?
It's a very, very funny story. It's a very Michael story, by the way. So you know where this is going to end.
Yeah.
And so we are, dinner starts, and then they bring out, and it's sort of, it had to be the fanciest dinner that the two of us have ever been to at this point in our lives. And then they bring out this little bowl with like the little lemon, right? And Michael grabs it, and he's like, it's delicious. I'm like, Michael, that's for you to clean your finger. Michael didn't realize that.
That was perfect.
That's sweet.
What's the Michael story?
I'm trying to think. Can I go back? That's 35 years. What dish would have got the finger bowl?
Oh, I don't know.
It was something, I remember. But okay. But that's a very Michael story. And so, so talking about failures in terms of those things, what have you learned from challenges or failures on there?
well, you don't have any failures. With me, I mean, I went through a couple of partnerships, and I could see them as failures, but I don't. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the entities that we created, the work that we did. I whenever you walk away and take a check rather than staying and writing the check for somebody else to leave, there's a there's a little cloud of gossip that inevitably will follow you, and you also feel like you left something behind. I was pretty good at not, well, one, I don't have much of a memory, so I don't really remember what I left behind. But I realized that I was pretty comfortable being wrong. Do you know what I mean? Just saying, I was too much of me, and I was too cocksure, and I thought I was this and that, and maybe I wasn't easy to be around.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed like the experience of working at that furious high pitch, trying to accomplish something and trying to create something memorable in an industry where things get forgotten very, very easily.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of a dozen restaurants that this generation's never heard of that
Right.
were
They
groundbreaking.
were incredible.
Groundbreaking in the
Yes.
city.
Yeah.
I mean, like for anybody not to know who Gordon Hammersley is,
I know
or,
Hammersley is
or
the first one that comes to
Jasper,
mind. Yeah.
or the guy had 798 Maine. God, even I've forgotten his name. What's his
all
name?
right.
Damn me.
I think I'm too young for that.
Yeah, there you are. There you are. But I had a bunch of like divorces, or a handful of divorces,
Yeah.
and I can say that I had a lot to do with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And I learned a great deal from it.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of humility, I think.
Yeah. Let's move it into success.
Yeah.
What have you learned from yours? Conversely, what have you learned from success or from your success?
Well, we were talking earlier about people who buy, $400 million homes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all these people who have lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
And I think I always wonder, like, to what end? Like, if you have a house that's that big or expensive, it must be really special and you must enjoy it. But then we were talking about how many of these people don't actually live in those homes. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I think for me, as we were talking about earlier, like, what is success? And I think many people feel like it's, oh, I need to make a certain amount of money. I need to have a nice home. I need to have a nice car. What I've learned about, and I don't want to call it success, but what I've learned is important in life is feeling really comfortable with who you are and what you wake up to every day, and having people around you that you love and things that you want to do that you look forward to, and being able to do all of those things. And that's it, period, the end. And I know there are many other trappings of success. I think it's so hard to stop chasing, and especially now with social media and the phones and seeing what everybody else is doing, and how
What
do
they
you
portray they're doing, which is the
then
other
how
part
do
of
you
it. Yes.
slow your mind down to just ask yourself, what is it that I want? What makes me happy? And figure out what makes you happy every day and do that, period. And that's it.
My answer just walked by.
What was that?
She teaches me about success often, because the yin yang of the two of us is our energy is very different, and I'm extremely competitive and she's extremely zenny. And somebody just walked by with a Tati bag.
Oh.
And a bunch of years ago, there was when we had 5 places and they had 5 places, everybody thought there was this big rivalry. And then a billionaire bought their company. It's somebody that we had spoken to as well. And we weren't interested in doing that. It's a great company, beautiful, and they're in DC and they're all over the place. Good for them. We're able to pay our rent and, pay our taxes and travel a little bit, not nearly as much as we'd like, although this year I travel a good amount. But success has been, it's not about numbers. It's not about, you're constantly telling me we have enough people coming to our businesses that are delighted with it, whose lives are enriched by a cake that we make for them, or the coffee that they have every morning. And we're touching enough people to have a life that we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I just want to, like thrash and burn everybody that's in competition with us. And I learned slowly to adopt that zenny vibe that she carries with her all the time. Like from back when we first started dating, I had a nuttier brand of friends back then, and they all, well, I mean, they're still my friends, and they all called Joanne the spa.
Oh.
They said, "How's the spa?" Because we weren't yet marriageable material, but they would just because they would just come and hang around us, and she's just got a vibe.
Yeah.
I met last night. I was at an event. I forgot to tell you about this. And there was a woman who came up to me and introduced herself to me and says, "I love flowers, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Thank you so much." And she said, "I have kids." And so we go to the one in Fort Point, which is near the Children's Museum. And I hear that often. I'm like, "Oh, that's so great. I'm so glad you like that one." And then she said, "We also go to the one in Clarendon Street because there's the playground across the street." I said, "Oh, yes, that one's great too. So happy you like it." And then she said, "My son had to be at Mass General for about 9 months." And she didn't tell me what happened, but I could tell she was getting a little emotional. And so I was at Mass General every single day for 9 months. And I would go to your Beacon Hill store, which is right near Mass General. And she said every morning I would go. And it was like the one place where I could feel a little moment of peace, because I would walk into this place where I knew the menu. I knew I would get a nice greeting, because at all your places I do. I knew I could get my egg sandwich. I knew I could get my banana bread, and I knew it would be great. And I would have that moment, and then I'd go back to the hospital. It's just like, really.
Well, I would throw it back to you. There's a hierarchy of realty.
Yes.
Cognoscenti in this town.
Okay.
And you're a big shot. And there's
Okay, do you say so?
The
Yeah.
Beth D's and the, you know what I mean? There's people that sell a lot of property. And you're not really in competition with anybody. I mean, you know what I mean? You're comfortable, you're having a good life, you're in love, you travel around. You don't need to like burn everybody that's in your field of competition. And I have learned to, because when Michael Slough and I, we had a fun partnership, and we built 3 great restaurants really quickly. And in a weird way, we were too fiercely competitive, not with each other, but with the landscape. And I lost a little bit of my perspective on what we're really trying to do is make sure that that person in that seat is having a time that's memorable and a meal that they will talk about on Monday. And it's easy to lose your perspective a little bit when you get too much testosterone comes into
Yes,
play.
exactly.
You get
Like
competitive
a little
on a level,
too fancy for yourself.
You forget why you got in the industry in the first place, which was
Yeah.
to bring a little delight into someone's life.
Yeah. No, but thank you for bringing that point, because, for me, at least my journey in real estate has been about my own experience. Is that what is it that I bring to a table that is uniquely me, that's uniquely myself. And that's why I think I have such great group of, they're not clients, they're friends that consistently are part of my life, is because I've come to the table, just like you guys have described, your journey into your own business, just fully and genuinely and in a very real manner. And I think what has been...
Anybody who's not invited to his holiday party, I feel bad for you. Because there's so much freaking love in that room every year. And you actually look for, even for people that hate the holidays, you look forward to that party.
Well, it's always so great to have you guys there. It's always okay. But I was going to say that what I've discovered in the past couple of years is that my business is bigger than myself in many ways, in the sense that I feel finally, after 20 plus years, strangely a sense of legacy, like whatever little I have accomplished, whatever that means to whomever is watching that, it means something that allows them to believe that they can also do it. And it's mostly people that look like me, that sound like me, that maybe come from similar backgrounds, and that to me has been the real, that's my measure of success right now. Like if I was having this conversation, that would be my answer to you. That is my measure of success. That sense of legacy, more than any other quantifiable variable that you could explain. But you were talking about your consumer experience, and I was going to say, from a customer point of view, I think that is one of the defining factors of your companies, is that experience. How do you, as you grow, how do you maintain that consistency on that experience? Because you cannot be at, in the 12 restaurants at the same time. And so how do you build that consumer experience, that client experience?
Wow. You got to listen more than you talk. That's a big one. That's really a big one. You gotta be incredibly open to criticism. And we are. Like, it doesn't hurt our feelings. It doesn't. In fact, what hurts our feelings is if, like, people that you know and trust come in and give you like a super passive. Yeah, I came in, everything was great. It's like, no, man, come on. You're somebody I trust. Rip it apart.
Yeah.
Like hurt my feelings so that I'll have something to wake up for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think to continue on with, like, things to add to the recipe of and the calculus of success is being humble, and being a really good listener. And you can continue to grow if you want to. We struggle every single time we think of opening another place. We could very easily have 100 of them. It wouldn't feel right for either of us, right?
Yeah. I think the way in which we try to ensure that the teams are representing us is, and this is, from the very beginning, our guests are our teams.
Yeah.
And then the teams, if we treat our team members like our most VIP customers, then they will treat our guests as VIPs. And so it all starts, I mean, you know this from the work that you do. It's all about making sure that the internal hospitality is the priority.
Yeah.
Once you get the internal stuff, then the external stuff is just, what we've taught you to do to your coworkers and to each other. And that's what you do with our guests.
It's very, actually, it really is very interesting. You have me thinking right now everything. But let me pivot a little bit in terms of space. The real estate guy has to come out of this.
Yeah.
I feel like what you guys have done, it's interesting to see that consistency on your client experience, but it's also very interesting to see how idiosyncratic all of your spaces are. Obviously you have a brand alignment on all of them.
Are you trying to get us to talk about Alina?
No, but you can. No, but I do think that you're very intentional with your spaces, and you're very intentional with the way in which they are, not only they are designed, but the way that they do feel. How much you think that is part of your success as well, client experience, but also the physical experience, because it's not homogeneous,
Well, I know that we don't want to be cookie cutter, but this is not my area. This is where I say, Christopher, you get to design.
I like to say, if Joanne came home and I had painted our entire apartment black, she would think a bulb was out. She like environment's not really important to her, and it is to me, but follow through is difficult for me. So for the last 5 or 6 flowers, we hired an incredibly talented and wonderful friend and sister, and
yes, she's amazing.
Alina Woolhart. And Woolhart is just the perfect name for
it. Really is, right?
It really is. You know what? She's in my contacts as Cujo, because she's the sweetest, beautiful, petite little woman, but she is a tiger.
Oh yes.
And she has come and she's created the last half a dozen flowers that each one is a little different, but is uniquely a flower. There are some places that I think they all look the same. I think all the flowers look a little bit different.
Yeah, they do. They really do.
They have a twinkle to them that is very Joanne.
Yeah,
I think.
But it's such a contrast.
You got flower colors on right now.
But it's such a contrast between the physical experience and then the customer experience, right? Because you have the variety of the diversity on the physical experience, but then you have the consistency on the scale of your client experience. Yeah, it's really interesting. I love that about your business.
You two know that there's tequila in those glasses, right?
I've been drinking it. Do you want some more?
Yeah. No.
Come on. Yes, I know. That's a yes.
We're gonna end up switching
Here,
glasses.
let's switch
Yeah.
Are you
glasses.
sure? But it's delicious, right?
It's
very delicious.
It's really
yes.
good. It's
I'll-
I think
I'll
this is,
get-
I'm a big Casa Amigos guy, and I think this is better.
Yeah, I know. This Casa Dragones is delicious. I'm going to try to get you
Sorry,
guys a bottle
like
of it.
she thinks she has a future with George. So
George?
Clooney,
Oh.
he owns Casamigos. So if
That
you,
George.
George, if you're watching, she prefers Casamigos, but I dig this stuff.
So I need to get you out of here because you got to go to work. You have 12 restaurants to run. My last question,
Yeah.
what do you think is the key to success?
I mean, I have the triteest answer in the world. No, it's three parts. It's there's no denying hard work.
Yes.
There's no denying luck, but you never know if it's going to come or if it's not. So if it doesn't come, you're going to have to work a little bit harder. And the other one is humility. Is humility. There's plenty of people out there that are absolute pricks, and they are killing it. But I don't want to be around them, and we're not around them. And we are surrounded by incredibly great employees, managers, friends. We don't have those people around us, and we're fortunate. But they're out in the world and they're killing it.
Yeah.
But
this is your definition of
yeah,
success.
in our world, it's hard work, humility, and luck. It was, yeah. She sat down at the Rialto bar one day, and I told her a really stupid food joke. And we were both in relationships, but we kind of fell in love that moment,
Yeah.
right? And that's just luck, because I couldn't have. Maybe I didn't work that night,
Right,
Yeah.
right,
and maybe we didn't hire her.
Yeah.
And maybe she didn't click with Jody the next day or that interview. Maybe it was a better time for her because I made her laugh. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's just unpredictable serendipity, and you can't force it. So that's me. Yeah. Yeah. Did you answer?
I didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
Yeah.
cutting you
No,
off.
no.
Well,
I mean,
my
I agree.
answer was so good.
It was so good. I was like, I'm
Exactly.
done.
So complete.
This is the end of Tequila Chats. We are not shooting anymore. We figured
I
out.
agree with everything Christopher said, but I would also say the key to success, and I think we've been talking about it all throughout this discussion. The key to success is really knowing what is success for you, and I think that's so lost with so
Your
many
answer's
people.
better than
No,
mine.
It is. It
not.
actually is.
So good. Hers is better. No, that's a better
Stop
answer.
interrupting her. She was giving like a.
No, but I do think that so many people are chasing, and they're not sure what they're chasing. They think they know what they're
It's an
chasing.
ideal of what
But
success
then they
is
get
supposed to
that, and
be.
I always wonder, like, once you get that, then what? I mean, it's usually money. I feel like it's often, I want X amount of dollars. Okay, now you have that. Now what are you going to do with it? And I understand, I'm going to buy a this, I'm going to buy a that, I'm going to go travel. Great. Now what? And so you got all that, and you do all that.
Yeah.
But then, are you happy?
Yeah.
And so I think understanding what makes you happy, and then I think going back to what we were talking about earlier, happiness is always about connection.
Mhm.
And so you might not think it is, because you think, I want the house, I want the car, I want the this. But I mean, they have studies that when you are old and on your deathbed, like, what brings you happiness? It's the relationships that you
Yeah.
have in your life. It's not the
That's
car
what
or
you're-
the
yeah.
house. Yes. And so I think the key to success is knowing what makes you happy and how you connect with people. Because if you can figure out how to connect with people, whether it's through a cookie or through finding somebody their dream home or creating a space that they can walk into and feel, excited and loved, however it is that you find that connection, finding defining that for yourself so that you can go out and do that and then feel at peace, that is the key.
Yeah, it's not a number. For some people, it is. For some people, I mean, we know, like,
Totally.
for some people, it's like, I'm going to put this amount of money in the bank, and then I'm quitting. I have no interest in working another day in my life. And for other people, it's more about, I gotta stay connected, even though I have that dollar amount in the bank. But I would just be lost if I didn't keep working, or I'd be lost if I didn't keep the connection we have with the community, either through nonprofits or, whether it's just having a relationship with Rosie's Place,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or being a part of this city, as much as I would love to leave, I don't think I ever will, Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
I mean, it's a small place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's, I just got back from 3 months in Tokyo, which is what this means. I actually thought it was the name of the store I bought the luggage in, but it says Tokyo. I just got back from a city of 35 million people for but you come back here and there's a smallness to it, but it's actually still as big as any other place you can go. And being connected is super important
Yes.
to defining what success is, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are amazing. Thank you very much. So generous, so wonderful. I'm very fortunate to be your friend. And
You
so,
really
thank you.
are.
I really am. Yes, I am.
It's incredible.
I really
And
am.
we are amazing.
Look,
We're amazing.
you really are. I'm trying to get that high. That's right.
Exactly. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a furniture store. I love it.
Well, cheers to you guys. Thank you again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to watch all episodes of Tequila Chats.